What are some big storylines to watch in Cubs spring training? Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. The best way you can help us grow the show is to listen or watch every day. Subscribe on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, then like the video and comment anything below. Not too many Alex Bregman updates on Tuesday, so we are going to dig into spring training as it's day 3 down there at Sloan Park in Mesa, AZ. First full team workout is this Friday. First spring training game is next Thursday on the 20th. Crazy. March is really right around the corner. On Monday's episode, we did key battles. I guess today, Sam, would be key storylines as we get closer to baseball season.
Yeah, to all those in the Chicagoland area, stay safe with this pending snowstorm. So we'll see how that unfolds, and sure, I'm interested to hear these storylines because on Sunday we talked about the third base stuff, the bullpen stuff,
and the fifth starter's job.
And the fifth starter's job. So those would be my 3, but it seems like this might be a little bit of a different path.
Well, we're going to get a Nico Hoerner update later in the program, but one of my top things to watch is how are players returning from injury? And I have 4 names right away.
Wait, say that again. How are players returning from injury from last season?
Yep.
So Swanson.
Or off-season surgery.
So Swanson,
yep.
Hoerner.
Right.
Who else got hurt last year? It's a long list.
2 pitchers for sure.
Actually,
Luke Little.
Yeah. And then who's the 4th?
Jordan Wicks.
Oh, Wicks, sure.
Ben Brown.
Oh, of course.
And a bonus one just because he has yet to appear in the big leagues, Cade Horton.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good theme. That's a good theme.
A lot of good signs out of camp now, but I want to see these brothers in games.
Well, but is it really good signs out of camp? They've been there for about 36 hours.
Well, so far they are, yeah.
Well, I mean, they're just throwing back and forth. I mean, if they can't do that, then
they're doing drills as well, PFPs.
Right.
Turning double plays, a little bit of hitting.
I think Brown is probably outside of Matt Shaw, is probably the number 1 guy I'm watching this spring training. Yep. I'm watching everything. I'm watching movement. I'm watching velocity. I'm watching, probably in an unhealthy manner. I want to see how he looks because I think, to me, I've said this will probably be maybe a half dozen times now. I think he's the biggest ceiling raiser they have that we're not accounting for pitching wise.
Yeah, and I don't mind the idea of him being in the bullpen.
No, I don't mind.
I'd have to do a little more digging on this. I could see a Mason Miller-ish parallel. A starter that's on a mileage count, a pitch count the following year, has success out of the pen. Miller had immense success out of the pen last year with the A's, who are now in Sacramento. I have to imagine Brown and Cade Horton are going to be on innings limits this year, but I think there is a lot of value with contributing those innings to open the game. And so I really would like to see Ben Brown get a legit shot to start some games to open the campaign. And then maybe he goes to the bullpen later, if they get people back or other guys are stepping up or they add, in the summer.
Yeah.
Where are you at with that? I think you would like to see him as a starter, right?
Yeah, but I'm with you. Okay. I want to add that I really do or die is too strong. But this is a really important year for Cade Horton, Ben Brown, and Jordan Wicks. Probably more important for Wicks and Horton because Brown has at least shown flashes now at the big league level. Jordan Wicks is, I don't think he has a tremendously high ceiling, but I think he could be a very solid MLB pitcher. But it's not a good combination of, I think he could be good, but he's never healthy. That's not a good combination. Like usually the guys that aren't healthy at least have higher ceilings than Jordan Wicks has. Do you know what I mean? So he really needs, part of his value needs to be being on the field. So he needs to have a good, solid season where he produces and he is healthy. And Cade Horton, we've documented last year, I don't want to say it was thrown under the rug, but there were just bigger negative storylines to where, he wasn't great before he went down and then he got hurt. And so, this was a guy 2 years ago at this time, as I talked about on my trade value ranking show, that probably would have been number 1 or number 2 on that list. And now he's probably in the 8, 9, 10, 7-ish range. So I'm interested to see his season at AAA. That's definitely probably the biggest Iowa headline. I think it's a good point. What's number 2?
Number 2 is, how are the second-year starters progressing? Michael Busch, Pete Crow Armstrong, Miguel Amaya all started for the first time last year.
Yep.
Either as rookies or in Amaya's case, his first time as the full-time starting catcher. I really think I'm going to have the magnifying glass out for them.
Yeah.
Those guys are everyday players. You could make a case the Cubs might be relying too much on those dudes. We'll see if they bring in a Justin Turner or something like that. Carson Kelly is similar to a Justin Turner for Amaya. The Turner would be for Busch. In the outfield, PCA is complemented by maybe PCA, Happ, and Tucker with Seiya on the outskirts as the DH. That's one of the better outfield groups in the sport.
Yeah, probably in the top 3.
Yeah, so PCA's in good company, good hands out there too.
We haven't talked a lot about Miguel Amaya on this program. Again, I would throw him in that list as well. If it doesn't happen this year, patience will probably be waning. They are asking a lot of him. Last year at this time, he still had Gomes. Remember, going into last year, Gomes was supposed to be the starter, and Counsell really pulled the plug pretty quickly on Gomes. If you remember that, by May, Amaya kind of took the job over, albeit him not hitting at all.
Right.
Amaya needs to have a good year. He does. It would be a huge boost to this team if they could get, what numbers are you looking for? I think last year, again, the 162 stuff is so deceiving because when you look at it, he actually finished at 232, and most of the year he was in the ones, but he got really hot late. It just didn't really matter that much. I think Miguel Amaya, if you could get a 720 OPS out of him in the 720 to 740 range, have that OPS plus, WRC plus. I don't know which, numbers people want to use here. I'm not Albert Einstein. But if he could be at 100 or over in that regard,
wow, it'd be great.
That's really like adding another player because they just didn't get a whole lot from that position as third base. They didn't either.
No, they had 2 of the 7 spots. They basically got little to no production.
His WRC plus last year was in the low 80s.
Yeah.
So he jumps that up. He jumps that up to 100 right there. That's another couple W's.
Well, the 100 is league average supposedly. So what if he was 93?
Yeah, and that wouldn't be good enough.
Okay, thank you.
He needs to take a jump, and we need him to be a league average hitter. 100. That's the goal. 95, 96, passable. I'd like to see Miguel Amaya have a WRC plus of 100.
And the third thing to watch for this spring, and yes, I know it's spring training.
You still sound a little nasally.
But I think you could begin to answer this question really this month and certainly prior to the Japan trip.
Ooh, this is interesting.
There is only 34 days until opening day, but I think you can begin to answer this question, Sam. Ready?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Are the 2025 Cubs better than the 2024 Cubs?
Yeah, they better be.
Go Cubs.
I see that question being asked a lot, and we might have a show on this. We may not, and if we don't, we still probably will. The answer is Kyle Tucker. That's what that's the big thing that they've done. With all due respect to Matthew Boyd, with all due respect to Eli Morgan, Carson Kelly, Ryan Presley, Ryan Brazier, and the
Cody
other
Poteet,
87 relievers they signed.
Ruhan, Verdi.
The large move that they made was shipping out Cody Bellinger and Isaac Paredes and bringing in Kyle Tucker. He needs to perform. If you get a high 8 OPS from him and he plays 140 plus games, then yes, everything else, this team will be better than they were last year. But it's him. That if you feel like this team's going to be really good, it's because of him. Everything else, for the most part, is similar. They've improved a little bit on the margins, and I think they've improved their bullpen. And I like Boyd, but none of that is enough for you to go, oh, this is a 90-win team. The 90-win team stuff comes from the fact that you added a true bona fide star that needs to perform like that in your lineup every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said right there. And I'm excited. I'm excited. I know you said this for Monday's episode, but I'm excited for the first game next Thursday, especially given the weather around these parts.
So I'll be in Vegas for their first spring training game.
Yeah, the first game on Marquee is Friday, but yeah.
Oh, I wonder if there's a way to watch that there.
Yeah, on Friday. Yeah, you should.
Well, even on Thursday, if it's not televised, maybe Vegas has it because you could probably gamble on it.
Well, that's true.
Maybe we go to the sports book, enjoy a little Cubs baseball.
Wow.
Have like a buffet.
Dang. There you go.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Yeah, 220, of course.
All right, coming up next, a really positive update on Nico Hoerner. Stay tuned. Please welcome to the show our brand new partner, Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? How about Wonderful Pistachios? What a great snack this is. One of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you keep feeling fuller longer. I love pistachios for a snack. I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking at my desk between classes or I'm to and from school or just need a quick energy boost. They're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite as well. Wonderful Pistachios. How these little green wonders pack a protein punch. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. That's wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Nico Hoerner is in a good place following flexor tendon surgery in October. The start of spring training was the first opportunity for a real update on Hoerner, and Cubs manager Craig Counsell said Monday Hoerner is, quote, not going to miss much, if at all, close quote. And Sam, I don't know if you saw this yet, but Counsell pointed out the goal is for Hoerner to be able to play shortstop at 100%.
I did see that.
Yeah, since there is more required there than second, plus a longer throw, overall larger volume of throws throughout a game. Of course, we know Dansby Swanson is the Cubs shortstop, but if Swanson needs an IL stint at any point in 25, then Hoerner will slide over there in his absence. So interesting. Basically, Counsell's saying, hey, Hoerner can play second right now, but can he do that? And then some. And it's nice to know that he's throwing which is the biggest obstacle to an in-game return. And I think, speaking of the first few games from last segment to close out, I think the first few games for Hoerners to stack those up, I think that will be an important step.
Yeah, the shortstop thing was kind of odd, I thought. But I heard it. But yeah, you're probably right. It just means, being able to back up and whatever. I would lean towards, like, he would have to be 100% plus, I think, to play in Japan.
Yeah, I think it's a good call.
Because why? It's 2 games and then you get another break. Like, why press
just
it?
Wait 8-9 days later.
Yeah, just make sure you're 100%. I mean, 2 games in reality, as much as we talk about on this show how every game matters, losing Nico Hoerner for 2 games is going to decrease your win percentage maybe by 1 or 2%, if that. Birdie could play over there, and those games are kind of just throw anything against the wall and see if you could just steal a game or two. You're just trying to play thievery. You're going over there. You hope you get a good start, and you don't really don't risk anything. But yeah, it's a good sign. I wonder, I feel like we've entered, even though I know Cease got traded late last year, I feel like we've entered the point where I would be really surprised if the Cubs made a big trade this late.
Well, spring trading trades are rare.
Yeah, and so I was just kind of making the point, like, maybe they're trying to increase his trade value, but probably not. I think that ship might have sailed, but we'll see what happens with Bregman. But yeah, it's good news. It's good news. It's again, Nico Hoerner's on that list. There's a lot of Cubs going into this year that just have very important seasons ahead based on what they did last year, and I'm going to do an episode later this week about are the Cubs in win now mode? When you look at some of their contracts, these guys aren't going to be here that long unless they sign extensions.
They are in win now mode, I think.
And so if they're in win now mode, guys, they need Nico Hoerner to become a really, really, I know War says he's a really, really good player, but he needs to get to another level. Dansby needs to have a bounce back year offensively. We talked about some of these pitchers. The only guys I think, and even Seiya is a good example. This is an opportunity for him. I already saw, people ask me, you think, could he get 40 this year? It's like, I fall for this trap every offseason with him. So I'm just going to leave it alone. But this is a really important year for a lot of these guys. I think the only guys that really are going into this year kind of hey, if I just do my thing, I'll be fine. Maybe the Haps of the world. Because even Tucker, he's going into a contract year. He needs to have a good year. He needs to have a good, solid, healthy year. He's got $300+ million on the line.
Yeah,
Steele, I think if Steele just has a regular Steele year, I don't think he's feeling tons of pressure or anything like that. Maybe same with Tyone. But there's some guys that there's really important seasons ahead, and Nico Hoerner's one of them.
Important seasons, win now seasons, both this year and 2026. And you could make a case that the uncertainty beyond that does elevate those prospects of these next 2 years. I thought that the Cubs would be cautious about these first 2 games in Japan with Hoerner. After hearing Hoyer and Hawkins on Sunday, Sam, I really feel like they're being cautious with the whole 40-man roster. And so I am now starting to anticipate, gladly, that Hoerner is going to play on March 27th, the second opening day. Mm-hmm. But that 8 or 9 days after the first 2 games in Japan, if that's what matters for his health or anybody else, I think that's the path the Cubs are going to go down. And I wasn't sure Hoerner would even be ready for the second opening day, or maybe even the third opening day on that following Friday at Wrigley. So, if he's playing against the D-backs late March there, that's huge. And I like where our direction is going in terms of those first 2 games in Japan. It's not too early to start talking about it.
No, too early.
Only 34 days as of this publishing of this episode.
It's tomorrow.
And I would like them to be disruptors over there.
Yeah.
They started 0-2 last year, got off to a 17-9 start, before the floodgates opened. But the 0-2 start, wouldn't be detrimental. but going there with what the Dodgers have done, taking that trip, coming back 1-1, or dare we dream for more. I really like the Cubs' role as a disruptor. I'd like to explore that more in the future.
It's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity. The baseball world will be watching. You're facing the best.
On what channel, by the way? That hasn't been announced yet, and that's embarrassing that we don't know what channel it's on, but that's my opinion.
I would guess ESPN.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't
ESPN.
Should.
It was 34 days away.
Was it ESPN last year?
Don't remember.
Okay. You're facing the best team in the league, most popular team in the league, the team that has the most eyes in the league. You're the only game in town. We know no matter what happens, whether they go 2-0, 0-2, or 1-1, there'll be massive overreactions because there's no baseball for 7, 8, 9 days after that. Right. And that's years in baseball time. You go 9 days without playing. But really the mission there, regardless of how it happens, is come back, win a game, and be done with it, and then get ready to go to Arizona.
And I would like to say publicly now, please, Craig Counsell and company, do not play the starters that Friday, Saturday, or maybe even Sunday when they get back from Japan. There's spring training games even that Friday. Don't play anybody that day. Shoot, I would say even Saturday, don't play anyone.
I don't think you have to worry.
Monday, Tuesday, they host the Braves at Sloan. Maybe they play guys then. We'll see.
I don't think you have to worry about the Cubs brass being too cautious, with stuff like that. They're pretty I like what Tyone said today. Did you see that?
Was it about urgency?
Yeah, he said there's a sense of urgency. It's good.
That is good.
Don't show that to Boog.
Hey, coming up next, we do know who one of the gentlemen will be that's starting on the bump for the Japan series. Let's get back to Shota Imanaga. We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Last segment. Shota Imanaga will start one of the 2 games in Japan on March 18th or 19th against the Dodgers. The lefty will pitch in Japan for the first time since 2023 after making a great transition from the NPB to MLB in 2024. Just a reminder, Imanaga went 15-3. Wow, with a 2.91 ERA in 173 innings last year, walking only 28, striking out 174. He was named to the All-Star team and ended up finishing 4th in Rookie of the Year and 5th in Cy Young. I have to think it's going to be Imanaga 1, Steele 2.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with who's ready and stuff. Maybe you see Steele for just 2 or 3 innings in the middle of a game, something like that. But yeah, you would think it would be those 2 if all things are equal. And then
I have an idea. Can I give you an idea?
And then recycle it in Arizona. Go ahead.
Do they stack the first game and they just do a starters game? They go Imanaga to Tyone to Steele?
They could, potentially. I mean, potentially. My guess will be Craig will determine it. If they're up early, they'll go all hands on deck to get that game, and then maybe do some other stuff. Game 2, figure it out. I don't know, but I think that it's the right move. And I think he'll be up to the task. Obviously Imanaga last year was the Cubs' best player, not just their best pitcher. He had like 3 or 4 bad starts all year. I believe, if my memory serves correctly, he threw well against the Dodgers at Wrigley. And I don't remember, did he throw against them in LA? I can't remember. I think he did. Yeah, he did. He threw well against them twice. He pitched against them twice.
That's good.
And he threw really well. And he's in his home country, which I'm sure he's going to be juiced up for. I would guess he's going to see him Yamamoto.
Right.
That would just feel like the right thing to do, unless Yamamoto's is not healthy. But
or Roki.
Roki too. I forgot. Yeah, he threw
Blake Snell or Glasnow.
Yeah, right. And I mean, they could theoretically, I should say it's the right thing.
It's crazy, right?
You would just think they would want to have a Japanese starter in Japan.
100%. And maybe both games.
They could do that.
Yeah.
He threw 7 innings, 3 earned against the Dodgers in LA in September. And then he went 4 shutout in a rain-shortened outing against the Dodgers in April. So he threw 11 really good innings against them last year.
Yeah, no,
And it's essentially it's the same guys.
It's encouraging. No, absolutely.
Ohtani and Betts and Freeman and
So
Teoscar.
that series finale at Wrigley in April was a rain. It got actually a rain delay.
No, yeah, remember that the Cubs really handled that whole situation poor, and then they stopped it for a bit.
That's
don't you remember? It was they were basically playing in puddles to get it official, and then they and so I think I don't remember if there's actually a delay, but they pulled Imanaga early.
Wow,
and they won that game going away 8-1.
Yeah, yeah, no, I remember. So.
Well, you're insinuating something that I don't remember, but I'll just leave it there.
Well, I remember going to the game with you the day before.
Yeah. Oh no, we went the day before. I got in trouble in the bleachers. I got in trouble for cheering too hard.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was upset at people.
I don't think did we ever talk about that on the air?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, because people got really angry at me that I, was just taking it too seriously. So.
All right, maybe we'll do a Bregman update for Thursday.
We don't have to.
Don't have to, right?
What's the update?
The update.
He might sign.
We can update.
He's
the
looking for a
situation again.
No, the payroll. Well, here, let's end the show with this, folks. Let's end the show with this. Food for thought. This is called a teaser for tomorrow's show.
No, this will be the closer today.
This will be the closer. This will be the outro right here. Okay. Because you know what I'm going to say. If the Cubs don't sign Bregman and they just sign Justin Turner and make no other moves, and they start this season at $215 million in luxury tax payroll, I've been lifting. I will move mountains. I will pull a Matt Cozy. I will move big mountains. I will leave no stone unturned. I don't even care if this team wins 91 games. If they are at $215 million, folks, you're not going to add $15 million at the deadline. If you do that, you're going to be trading for some really, really good players. Their salary will be prorated. 215 is not enough, and another move needs to be made. And yes, purely for financial reasons, they should be able to spend more. They don't have to try and win this division at 215.
Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. Give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube or leave a YouTube. Oh, you got me rattled with the payroll stuff.
Humbinger. What's that word?
Or leave a I don't remember. I'm glad I didn't read the comments on Tuesday. Or leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs. Parker?
Yeah.